Hello everyone, it's Brian with you again for part 6, if you can believe it, of Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, otherwise known as OMD. I considered briefly splitting this into 2 parts, but I thought, let's just get it over with, move on to other things and not talk about OMD for many years to come. So in this section, I'm going to really focus on the only studio album that came out after that last period, and then some collections of live material and whatnot. So I won't say too much about these things. The first thing I'm going to show you is something that was released in 2016 and also recorded in 2016, and it's called OMD Architecture and Morality and Dazzle Ships live at the Royal Albert Hall from May 9th, 2016. This is a triple vinyl collection of live material, which is actually pretty good. It's actually interesting because you get to hear some live recordings of stuff off the later records, which is interesting to hear. There were only 1,000 copies of this pressed, so it probably would be difficult to find one now. There's also a CD version, which was oddly, I believe, on CDRs for some strange reason. But this is actually a pretty good collection, nicely put together, and it's pretty good. I'm just checking my dates here. So that was 2016. In August 2017, as the band is often known to do, they released an advanced single from the upcoming studio record. So this is from the record that would be called The Punishment of Luxury, and the first single from that record was called Isotype. This is a 12-inch single. The flip side is a track called Skin. Actually, the video for this song, Isotype, is pretty interesting. My 2 young kids actually really like that one. It has a lot of visual interest, and they do enjoy watching that. Again, there are 1,000 copies of these available, so probably hard to find now. And it's not that sort of simple design. It's a pretty good single. I think that's probably maybe the strongest song on the record, Punishment of Luxury, perhaps. So a couple weeks later, the band released the album, The Punishment of Luxury, which looks like this, still in a shrink wrap here. There are 12 tracks, starting with The Punishment of Luxury, Isotype, etc. You know, All Music, a site that I look at quite regularly, gives this 3.5 out of 5 stars, which I think is probably accurate. In my opinion, the 2 albums that came before this, English Electric and History of Modern, are definitely better. This is not terrible, but it just sort of pales in comparison. It's a bit of a letdown. So I think 3.5 stars is probably fair enough. So it has some songs that I really dislike, though. Robot Man. I don't really like that track very much. Art Eats Art. Kiss 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 Bang Bang Bang. You know, there's a couple tracks that sort of sound like they could have been on Dazzle Ships. One's called Precision and Decay. La Mitrailleuse, I guess, is the other one. Ghost Star is okay. It's kind of a mix. Some good, some bad, and I think the previous 2 records are more in line with their earlier stuff in terms of sound, and this one sort of deviates from that a bit. So I don't love this record. It's not terrible, but it's just, if this had come out first and then the next 2, it would have made more sense. But this one, I guess something's missing maybe from it. The next single from the record was the title track, The Punishment of Luxury, and the flip side is it's an extended mix, and then there's Lamp Licht, I guess that's pronounced, and then the single version of The Punishment of Luxury. Not much to say about that. It's actually an okay track. Not the best one on the record. Then the third, that's also limited to 1,000 copies, so you might be out of luck if you want one. The third single, also limited to 1,000 copies, is called What Have We Done? With no question mark. I believe there should be a question mark at the end of that. It's a question, I think. So there's the extended mix, single mix, and something called Ha Ha Ha. And now, interestingly, What Have We Done is sung by Paul one of the few tracks that he sings. This track has a pretty good synth line. It's not bad. It's a bit mellow, but I think it's okay. It just, again, doesn't live up to some of the other things. It's 1,000. So each of those singles had 1,000 copies. And the next thing is, I think, really jammed in this thing is another live recording. This one is OMD live with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra from 2018. And once again, it is a triple vinyl release. And as the title suggests, it's recorded with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra. Polyline sleeves and on clear vinyl. And what can I say about this? It's funny because you're either going to... This, I think, divided fans. Some fans were incensed by the fact that there was an orchestra as their backup band, essentially, as the music. And other people really liked it. I'm sort of of the opinion that it's actually pretty good. It is weird to hear things like Enola Gay, Electricity done orchestrally, but some of the songs really, really work well. For example, it starts with Stan Lowe. I'd say one of my favorite tracks from the band's second record, a very mellowish sound. It's sort of, so the concert starts really in a mellow way, and goes into Statues, which is sort of a more mellowish Ghost Star, which is one of the better tracks from the Punishment of Luxury, and it goes through a lot of things from Architecture and Morality and some early tracks, and then I'd say a little strangely it goes into things like Walking on the Milky Way that I didn't really love, Sailing on the Seven Seas, Dream of Me, and some stuff from Junk Culture. So it's a mix, and I'd say overall not bad, but I can see why some hardcore fans wouldn't have loved this. But another triple LP release. And then in 2019 the band released a collection, I think the first vinyl collection since the best of OMD. It's called Souvenir. This is the hype sticker. It has the singles collection from 1979 to 2019, 3 albums, 180 gram vinyl, featuring all the things you know. So there's 40 tracks on here. 40 tracks spread over, once again, let me show you the album cover. 40 tracks spread over 3 pieces of vinyl, and it has what you would expect, all the singles. So starting with Electricity, Red Frame, White Light, through Architecture, Morality, Dazzle Ships, etc., right up to What Have We Done, and then a new track called Don't Go, which I don't think is that good, to be honest. It's a bit boring. It's on black vinyl. So I think the new track it's probably leftover from Punishment of Luxury, and it just doesn't do a lot for me. I think the deluxe CD box had a lot more material, maybe some more B-sides and things. And then in 2019, the band released OMD Live at Eventum Hammersmith Apollo, and guess what? It's a live collection on 3 pieces of vinyl, and it again covers some of the early stuff right through to some of the later stuff like Punishment of Luxury here. So let me pull out a record, because this one, no, I should say that there's only, this one is not limited edition. I got messed up there for a minute, but it's blue vinyl. I would say the sound on this one is really good. I would recommend this one. But I guess there's the question of how much live OMD can one fan have, because I've already showed 3 triple vinyl live records. So how many do you want? How many is a good amount? It's a little, maybe it's too much. Maybe it's peak live OMD, but who knows? Maybe if you're a hardcore fan, you might like it. And then the next thing that came out in 2021, but again, it's in a tight sleeve here, is the 40th anniversary celebration of Architecture and Morality. So it has the original 3 singles, 45 RPM, colored vinyl, and some unreleased demos, rough mixes, and some live performance at Drury Lane for the first time on vinyl. So three pieces of vinyl. This is what it looks like on the outside. Really reflective cover. The inside, it takes the images from the covers of the singles. And so the first one is Souvenir. And this is on this colored vinyl. This is a really difficult sleeve to get records in and out of. It's a bit tight, so Joan of Arc. This red vinyl. So again, they have demos, the original single, demos. For example, Joan of Arc has Romance at the Telescope, live recording, rough mix, an early demo of Georgia, an early demo of She's Leaving. And then we have the Maid of Orleans, and this one I think is on purple, purplish vinyl, 45 RPM. So an interesting kind of collection of things that weren't available before. So there were lots of other things that were released in this period that I haven't mentioned because most of it was on, I think all of it was on CD or DVD. For example, there's like the Live in Berlin show on DVD. There's been a number of collections, notably something called Navigation, which was a bunch of B-sides. And I would say for OMD, B-sides have been very interesting for them because they have a lot of really interesting B-sides. So the collection actually makes sense, and it should be on vinyl probably. So let me tell you what's coming up. The band has released live at the Royal Albert Hall already on CD, and in the early next year it will be released on triple colored vinyl. So another triple vinyl live record from OMD, if you can believe it. And the band is also working on a new record, which apparently is going to be entitled Bauhaus Staircase. And apparently it's said to sound very old school. Andy McCluskey said it would feature 808 drums, and what he meant was the Roland TR-808. And if you know early OMD, you'll recognize the sound. It's the sound on for example, on Enola Gay. So apparently it has lots of analog synths on the new record. I have no idea when that is coming out, but that is forthcoming, and that is all I'm going to say about OMD. So thank you for enduring six segments on OMD, those of you who watched all 6. And that'll probably be the last I have to say about OMD for quite a while. But thanks once again for watching, and I'd be interested in knowing what you think about this stuff in the comments. Thanks.